Before we dive into the episode, I do want to thank our sponsor for this video, Mr. Hasnan Babar. If you have any creative work that you need to get done, don't forget to contact him. Also, another very important news. So we are introducing a brand new segment where you catch what's happening in the city. So all the updates. So here we go. CDCL released a schedule for the season. WCL hosted a successful two-day match in a form of test match. U19 Open trials are on April 12th. Calgary Women's Cricket Organization is hosting an indoor women's cricket tournament on April 20th. That's between 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And lastly, girls cricket at Future Cricket Stars Foundation on April 26th and May 3rd, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. With that, let's welcome ROMME'Ls Shahzad to the show, who has played various leagues, as well as he has played for Canada. And recently he was in Australia. He played 3 seasons there before returning home. So let's have a chat with him.
Thank you so much for having me. You know, I've seen a lot of this
Yes.
while I was up in Australia. I saw a couple of the reels and stuff, and it's good to be finally on here as well.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. I do want to know about the rocky and very fascinating journey about your cricket history.
Yeah.
So can you walk us through how you started at U17, and before that, all the club cricket that you have played, and then your transition into Canadian cricket team. And now I know that you have played a couple of seasons in Australia, and now finally, welcome back to Canada.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's been a long journey, honestly. Started from Pakistan, just in my house with my dad when I was 3 years old, and then led to like me actually moving to Canada when I was 12 years old, and started my hardball cricket here in Canada originally. Played a bit of cricket in Saskatchewan with my dad on his side, and then sort of just played cricket there. Made the provincial side for Saskatchewan under 17, played Canada Cup, was the highest wicket taker in my first ever tournament. And then I'm not sure if you know Usman Khan from Crown back in the days. So he was one of the selectors. So he had originally told me to come down to Calgary and play cricket here. So then I transitioned to Calgary. So did a lot of moving. And then, just after that, played for Alberta under 17s, played Canada Cup again. Was a highest wicket taker again, so back-to-back years, and that was my transition into the Canadian under 17 team, where I went on my first tour to Bermuda. So it's been a long journey till that time.
No, that's fascinating. And I know Usman Khan has had a very significant impact on Crown Cricket Club. Just like some of the other names in the city. And then you transitioned to which team, United?
Yes, I did. I played a season in Crown, and then Manzi Bhai and Hamza Bhai had reached out to me, and they were like, we're interested in having you playing for us and all that. And I actually moved down to Calgary alone when I was 15, I would say, 15 years old. Family was still back in Regina, Saskatchewan, and stayed with Abdi. And his with him, he took care of me. He was pretty young himself at the time, and then officially stayed there for about 2.5 weeks, and then stayed with Hamza for 2 months, and then he took care of me. So played a couple of seasons with United there. So it's been an amazing time. Like, if you think about it now, that how I've transitioned and how everyone's grown so much, and where we've come all. So it's been good.
So United has done a lot of babysitting for you.
They have. And that's what they've been known for a very long time. They were one of the sides with a lot of youngsters on their team, and me being a 15-year-old living alone, they took care of me, and they still do, to be honest.
You've represented Canada at different levels, right? And you played for under 17, as we mentioned. You played for under 19, and then the senior team. And now you have played 3 seasons in Australia. Comparing everything, not just at the local level, but at the national level, how do you see, how has that changed your perspective on cricket?
I think the biggest thing that the Canadians lack, of course, and it's not their fault, it's the weather, of course. You know, 8 months under the snow. Cricket just being an outdoor sport, you can't really believe that you can practice in indoors for, 8 months and then expect to, like, go on a turf track and decent looking grounds and, just outplay the teams that have been training on it for years and, going around. So it's the same thing in Australia as well. I mean, they get about 6 months of summer and then 6 months of winter as well, but they've got different training like facilities where you're still training on turf, whether it be indoor. So I started off a place called Warrnambool, which is 3 hours away from Melbourne in Victoria. That's where I got my first contract. So played a season there, and I just wanted to play in the city because as soon as you come to when you play cricket in the city, you're playing against state players and probably the best players in all of Australia, even at club cricket level as well. You're playing with guys that are playing state at the level or the guys that are just breaking into the Australian side.
Makes sense.
And all that stuff. So spoke to my sponsor, equipment sponsor in Australia. And, he told me, he's like, what you should do is play a season in Darwin. So that's north of Australia. So when all of cricket is done in on this side of, so the south side, basically, of Australia, because it's wintertime, everyone goes up to Darwin. And because there's no winter there. So they either have a, rainy season or like a very dry season kind of thing. So everyone transitions and plays cricket there. So, ended up going there, played cricket there as well for a whole season. So we won premiership in Warrnambool, A grade, won A grade premiership in Darwin as well. And then I extended my contract back with the Warrnambool side for another season. So it's just that the things you see is the facilities they have and just how they're very naturally athletic. A lot of Australians, they play more than one sport in general, even if you're a national player as well. I've seen them play footy, which is it's a mixture of American football and a bit of rugby, but completely different. So some tough workouts for that sport. So you just see these guys playing different sports and they're just all about, just sports, and then, transitioning from different sports to this. So it sort of helps out with their fitness levels as well. So I think that's one of the major things as well. It's just that some of us, are here, we're just too focused on cricket. And then when it's winter time, you're not able to do much. So you don't really put enough time in it after that as well. So reason being me as well, why I don't like to sit around in Canada during wintertime, and I like to, take out my time, either go to Pakistan, which I've gone a couple of times, and this time it was just Australia.
So obviously we all know Australia's, cricket team, they are big game players. Right. So do you think they ingrained some of this into their state level or club level, so the mentality kind of just builds on? Did you see anything like that in them?
It's honestly very surprising how cricket works there. So this is I don't know about state teams. I know they've got a different schedule than normal cricket clubs, but every single cricket club, whether it be Premier in the city, countryside, or wherever it may be, they only train Tuesdays and Thursdays. And they only play cricket on a Saturday. That is it. So they'll play about 4 T20s in a season. That's if you make playoffs. Then you'll have maybe semifinal and a final.
Just 4 T20s?
Just 4 T20s. When the season starts till Christmas, they'll play 1 days after Christmas break. So you'll get 3 weeks off for Christmas. And then in January, you'll transition the same 1 days into 2-day games. And then your final will be 2 days as well. So it is something that I could not understand, is that we've got more cricket in Canada that way. We play cricket on Saturday, Sundays. T20s maybe is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Every time. And I see these guys, a country that's won 5 World Cups, right? And you look at them and you're like, okay, it doesn't make sense. So that is something I couldn't break myself, but I guess it's just something that is in their genes. In a way, they're just mentally strong. They're very rough, but I think the biggest thing is they put their heart into whatever they're doing, whether it be work, family. Because the reason they play cricket on Saturday is because Sunday's family time, strictly. And that is what they care about. So
fascinating.
It is. It's very like when I went there, I got bored in a way that there wasn't enough cricket.
Because you weren't playing any
exactly.
sport.
So I like I play cricket in Canada. We're playing about 3 to 4 games in a week. I was in Pakistan. I was playing cricket 7 days a week. And then you come to a country that's won 5 World Cups, and you're like, they've got to do something different. But this was the different side of them.
So less cricket is more.
Less cricket, and then I guess just whatever they, you know, they don't think too much about it.
So you recently joined Future Cricket Star Academy as a coach,
Yep.
right? How has that transitioned for you as a player and as a you know, a hybrid role?
Well, I think this journey starts from when I was playing under 17s in Canada myself. We'd always train with our clubs, you know, under 17 structure was there, but it wasn't enough, as in like, especially in a place like Canada, right? If you go to Pakistan, India, you take any other like test playing nation, you've got kids that are playing cricket 24/7. If they're playing for their club, they play for their club, then they go home, play with their friends or whatever, but it's just cricket every time. Here, it was different, right? So I had gone through that process where I wanted more cricket, but I couldn't get enough, right? We'd have, like, for us to be groomed, under 17 tournament once in a year was not enough, which was Canada Cup at the time, right? So under 17, and we would look forward to it. It would come, we'd be there for a couple of days, and that's it, it'd be over. And next time, you know, you're overage or anything like that. So I was lucky enough that I played my first one when I was 14. So I got to play 3, luckily. But
that's a rare.
It is very rare. Yeah, because not a lot of people do that. My younger brother, he only got to play 1. So it's instances like these, you know, you always want more cricket and all that. So when we came here and this Future Stars Cricket Academy thing came up, I was very happy because it was a way to give platform, and it was to look back for us as well. It's like, okay, this is something that we didn't have, but now the kids that are coming up will have this opportunity. And when Hamza Bhai had spoken to me about it, this was way before like I had gone to Australia. I was working with them at that time as well. It was just a great idea, like in general, is to think about it, because how many people, like, I still have people that think that, question me, it's like, is there cricket in Canada? And, you know, you tell them, you're like, oh, I've played here, I've played that. And they're like, oh, like, you know, we didn't even know that cricket was a sport there. And it's true, like, not a lot of people know about it, but it's a growing sport.
100%.
It's a growing sport.
Really fast.
Really fast. Like, same thing, 2 years ago while I was here, we were looking at our under 19 programs, and even my time under 17, it felt like we were getting less people every year in that under 19, under 18, under 17 programs. And now you look at the academy and the foundation, and you're like, where were all these kids hiding? Exactly. And it's like, you know, so it's a good thing, and it sort of helps me. It makes me happy to share my experience and whatever skills I've learned that have got me to this point in my cricketing life, you know, whatever it may be, sort of, you know, exchange it with the kids, help them out, whatever, you know, I can teach them. And one good thing about coaching is that you're sort of learning at the same time as well.
So I've seen you coach at the facility, and you're pretty serious.
Yeah.
So how did that transition from being a very goofy kid at 17, 18, 19 to the person you are today?
I think it has a lot to do with cricket itself. You know, when you under 17 times, you're all goofing around, and then you play some serious cricket, whether it be like under 17s, under 19s, and you represent the national team. You're representing Calgary, you're representing Alberta, you're representing something. So I think seriousness does come in a way, and, you know, you start thinking about it. For example, for me, like, I want to pursue cricket as a future thing, like, you know, keep going, keep pursuing cricket and all that. So that sort of seriousness comes in. And when it was cricket time, I was always serious. I never messed around, you know. Outside of cricket, I would, you know, do other things and all that.
So that side is still there?
Yeah, that side is always going to be there. I think that's just a part of me. But yeah, same thing when I'm coaching as well. I've seen those hardships where, you know, coaches have been hard on me and, you know, told me off and been like, okay, you need to get serious, you know. So it's the same thing that I apply to these kids as well. I know it is very tough to be serious at that age, and just think about something, because you want to try so many other things, you want to hang out with friends, you want to do this, you want to do that. So it's tough to be serious, but if you can have someone, that just puts a hand on your shoulder and is like, okay, like you just need to focus a little bit more. You never know. It might change that kid's life.
You've shared your dressing room with all these bigger players or the heroes that we look up to. Share your experience with us.
I can't explain it really because it's a bit weird to explain because you're at home, you're watching them, and then you get picked, and then a week later, you're sharing literally a room with them. You're in the same change room, you're training with them and all that. So it's a good experience, but it's also like you're sort of proud of yourself of all the hard work that's actually coming to reality. And it's like, okay, you were watching these guys and you were here and you've trained hard enough that you're playing on the same side as them. You might not be the same as good as them because you've just gotten there and they've got a whole lot more experience than you, but you're in the same door as them. So it is an amazing feeling. It just gives you a bit of a hope in a way that, all that hard work you put in is actually coming into play now. So it's good. Yeah.
Personally, did it make you nervous?
No, it might for other people. I'm just the type of guy that doesn't usually get nervous,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Yeah, not in a bad way or anything, but yeah, like I've never been nervous. Sort of, I've just stuck to what I'm good at, and at the end of the day, like you just gotta look at it in a way. Everyone wants to perform, right? If you're playing a sport, your job is to perform, and that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come off, it doesn't come off, and that's just how cricket is, and that's just how sports is. So I've never been nervous. At the end of the day, it's just a game. Simple as that. Doesn't matter how hard you work. If things were easy, it wouldn't be called sport. It would be something else. So you have to go through those hurdles.
Tell me about their work ethic, or like all these stars that you have seen. How was their did you notice anything different when you played amongst best of Pakistan players or best of West Indies players? Did you notice anything?
I think one thing that was surprising to me is during GD20, I saw a lot of players going to the gym and working out. And, in my mind, I was like, okay, well, it's a 3-week tournament. Why would you want to, make yourself sore and, work out, get a workout in? You're literally playing back-to-back games sometimes. And franchise T20 can be very tiring because, like, you're giving your 200%, like, every single time. It's not a test game, where you take your time and, sort of help your way into it. It's sort of bang, bang, bang. And, I was looking at these guys and I'm like, what are they doing in the gym? Why are they lifting weights and all that? But I had spoken to a couple of people. I remember I was in the change room. I was in the weight room and Fakhar Zaman was there. Shahid Afridi was there. And I was just having a chat with them. And they're like, just helps them out with recovery and it's just more strength. You're not really tiring yourself out, but it's more in a work in progress to like actually keep you fit for that time period, even for that 3 weeks, because you're putting so much in. You still need to keep that work ethic going on so you don't get injured, later on. You might be, not doing anything for 3 weeks and, you might have a weak calf or a hammy or whatever that you haven't strengthened in 3 weeks. And then, you end up blowing one during the tournament. So you don't have to go too heavy, but still keep doing small things to help you out during the tournament.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, since we're just chatting about this, can you tell me who was the most fascinating or just surprisingly odd player for you during GT20?
During GT20, I'm not really sure, to be honest. Yeah, I can't think of any. Like, yeah, I just can't.
Okay, I'll ask you the same question off camera.
Yeah, because I can't remember, honestly, because I wasn't sharing rooms with anyone.
Okay.
And everyone was doing their own thing at that point anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we kind of covered this. Based on your diverse experience, what changes would you like to see in Canadian infrastructure for cricket?
I know everyone mentions this a lot, but it doesn't get covered much, but it's facilities. Like, I cannot stress it enough more. Like, it is so important, especially with us. Like I said, weather's a big issue. We need more facilities. And I think the grassroots level has to come up a lot. we need to find, kids at a very young age, introduce them to the sport, and have them come through. Because, like I said, sport is one thing that brings, different cultures and all that together. So you're not really looking at specific
There's no
people.
color.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we've got a couple of kids at our academy that, we would look at and be like, oh, they probably might not be interested in sport, but you look at them and they just love it. So that's one thing, is to start developing players at a young age so they get, they get into the sport, and then having those specific tournaments, like I said, under 17s, to keep them engaged. Because for me, after under 17, under 18, I had no idea where I was going to go, but just because of my love of the sport, I sort of kept going and played club cricket and all that. Got picked in the city team later on, got picked in Alberta, then represented Canada. So, but there was no pathway in a way where, you 100% know. So I think we need to do that really well, is to get grassroots level, have proper coaches, have people who introduce them, sport to new people and all that, get them in there, and then have some kind of different tournaments or special facilities where you can be playing cricket during the winter time as well.
Yeah.
Could be games or whatever it may be, coaching, whatever it is. But if you want to strengthen the base, you have to keep going around it all year long.
Yeah. What about the conditions of our fields, our grounds? The ball, you hit the ball didn't travel for the most part.
I think that has been an issue for like the longest time as well. And it's to a point where we're sort of like, we've given up as well in a way. And that's just not how cricket's played.
How's that going to affect the younger players who are?
Well, the basic rule of cricket is to play ball along the ground, first of all, right? And if you have a kid who's young and he plays the ball on the ground and is not able to get any score because the ball doesn't go too far, you've got kids starting to develop bad habits where they're trying to play up in the air. Yeah. Exactly, when you're trying to train them their basics, right? So, or same thing with bowlers as well. We've got cement wickets and all that. Only a fast bowler or a bowler would know how bad it is for you after, you land, how bad it is for your whole body. Back injuries. My brother's been injured a couple of times. He's got a couple of injuries, all because of the impact on that cement thing, So it's things like this. It's very important for a strong base where you're developing kids. Now, I'm not talking about adults at all. Yeah. It has to be fully like, you've got the under 7 programs till under 18 where they're playing cricket constantly, because you don't want them. It's the same thing with like basketball or ice hockey and all this stuff. They go all the way around, Basketball is always on. Ice hockey, you can get places, you can switch into floor hockey, still hockey. So you need to have something like that for cricket as well, where you've got indoor facilities where kids are still playing games and keep them engaged within the sport for them to develop into good cricketers later on when they become adults and they're able to represent, their city, province, or even their country itself. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a big motivation in the end. You, as a batter, you always want to score. As a bowler, you don't want to get injured and get the most amount of wickets, right? Exactly. So if we have the right facilities, it kind of makes it easy for everyone. Yeah. There's one thing it's just keep coming back in my mind, and it's, this whole time since we've been recording, I wanted to ask you this, but I wasn't sure if it's appropriate, but I wanted to ask, walk me through this. West Winds, you against Bakir Zaidi, you bowl up Dusra. Yeah. How did that come about? Oh, that was a long time ago. But I will never forget it. I think it had a lot of things behind it, honestly, because I was playing for Crown the year before that, and I was playing that game as a 14-year-old, and I had driven down from Regina, Saskatchewan at the time, and I wasn't given an over in the final while I was told to stay. And that's when Munziba and Hamza had reached out to me. And then suddenly, next year, I'm playing T20 for United against Crown. And it was a very, very good game as well. I think we had scored 94 or something like that. And as always, Bakir Bhai, one of... Back then,
the outfield was very slow.
Yeah, it was.
94 was a decent total.
Exactly. But I think just the way the rivalry of United Crown was massive at the time as well.
Yeah.
It was like an India-Pakistan game. So yeah, during that time, I had already picked up 2 wickets. I think I had picked up Tahir Mughal at the time, and someone else, can't remember who. But yeah, a very tight game. And then, I don't know, I just had this thought in my head, especially with Bakir, by the way he bats, like, it's just like, you just can't get him out. Yeah, I just had a chat with Munziba, and he was like, you know what, try coming around the wicket, and tried coming around the wicket, bowl to him, but then just sort of changed my mind. I was like, what if he just sort of comes out, I'll bowl the other one. And it's sort of like happened exactly what I had imagined. And the reaction, yeah, it was like, yeah, I still send him that video sometimes. I'm like, do you remember this? And he just laughs it off now as well. But I think I'll never forget that moment. It's probably one of the best balls I've ever bowled in my life. And the game, the time, everything was just perfect. It was a perfect moment.
Yeah. It would be a criminal of me not mentioning it. I know a long time ago, but it's never too long.
Nah, never too long ago, yeah.
With that, let's dive into Rapid Fire, brought to you by Iceberg.
Sure.
One batsman from history you would love to bowl to.
One batsman from history I would love to bowl to. Javed Mirdad, honestly.
Best cricket ground you have ever played at.
That would be Johnson Oval in Queenstown.
Most challenging bowler you have faced.
Most challenging bowler I've ever faced. Oh, that's gonna be a tough one. It's not really rapid fire anymore, is it? I haven't really had anyone where it's like,
okay.
Yeah, no.
So you're gonna score a century first game?
I'm not saying that. But yeah, there hasn't been a time where I've like actually been like, okay, like I just can't play this guy. not to be cocky or anything, but yeah, I haven't had that moment yet.
All right, I'll give you a pass for that.
Yeah.
Favorite pre-match ritual?
I'm a big basketball fan, so I just love to watch Steph Curry highlights.
All right.
Yeah.
Golden State, all right.
Yeah.
One thing people would be surprised to know about your professional cricket life.
I'll skip everything to play cricket. Doesn't matter what it is.